Okay, so the Civic has just crossed 90,000 miles and I have had it for 16 months. So just washed it. That's probably the cleanest it's going to be for the next 16 months. So we'll do a little update video. 90,000 miles, no major dramas. Yeah, you know from my videos that I did have a blowout kind of thing. Lost this tire. So yeah, this tire hit a pothole. It's not this tire, obviously. This tire was on the back, so I hit a pothole with this corner of the car, and yeah, lost that tire. So I had to get that tire changed. So now that new tire is on the back, and now the rear tire from that side is on the front. I haven't swapped the other side yet. So it means that my wheels are slightly out of balance, so at 80 miles an hour you get a little bit of a wobble. And it means that the tire pressure warning thing keeps popping up. Now that's not very good, is it? See, that's why you should never wash your car. Because if you don't wash your car, you never see the chips. Is that a chip? There you go, another chip. Right, so it looks like I'm buying some touch-up paint. That's a pain in the arse, isn't it? Genuinely not seeing that. Anyway. That goes up. Everything other than my flat tire is pretty good, and this occasional tire pressure warning thing, everything still works. This is something that annoys me on these Civics. They don't have the trims for this. You can buy them. Interestingly, Honda sells the floor mats in a set of 4, or you can just buy the driver's mat individually. So I changed the driver's mat because that was starting to wear out a bit, so I stuck another driver's mat in there, which is quite considerate of Honda, isn't it? Sadly, the days of Honda in Swindon are now over because they've sold the factory to some, I don't know what. Right, so check tire pressure. Right, so the way to deal with that is, you just reset the tire pressure warning system, initialization system. So it's based on the ABS sensors, so it just checks the wheel speed. Now, there might be an error in the system. It's not the first time I've had that warning for no bloody good reason. So anyway, check your tire pressures. So I did hit there's potholes everywhere in England at the minute. So I did hit a little pothole the other day, didn't do any damage, clipped the bumper. But that was it. So yeah, maybe it does need the tire pressures checked. This car is still, it's so nice when it's been cleaned. Such a great colour. Anyway, other than that, I did an oil change at 90,000, and yeah, like I said, it's 90,500 now. Did an oil change at 90,000, and that was okay. Interestingly, I suppose if you're like 99% of the people in the world, this won't be interesting at all, but if you're the 1% of people who might be interested by this, oil filter was slightly loose. When I changed it, it spun off really easy by hand. It was showing some signs of weeping. It was a Bosch filter, so it's a good quality filter. My oil filter tool doesn't fit in so easy because it's recessed up into the sump. So when you're undoing it, it's right next to the sump. So you need one of those little leg tools. Anyway, all the oil filter tools I have, and I have several, but none of them fit this thing particularly well. So anyway, yeah, so I need to do that. I need to get an appropriate filter tool. But yeah, hadn't used any oil since the last change. Took about 4.6 litres or whatever it was. And yeah, so I'll do it again at 100,000. there's just nothing to report. Nothing bloody goes wrong. I mean, I'm sure things do go wrong. My little bit of lacquer peel on my wheel is getting a little bit worse. But, you know, if this is all I had to worry about. I mean, the thing is, you know things are wearing out, right? Because you're doing mileage. So you know things are wearing out. Yeah. What else? There's a little bit of wear appearing in the seat. Oh, actually, now I look at it, there's quite a fucking good bit of wear appearing in the seat. So on the leather here. So at some stage I'm going to have a trimmer look at this. I mean, it's going to have to be a lot worse than this for me to look at it. But, so you can see the wear is all restricted to this panel. So a trimmer will find that really easy. Take that out, put that in. If it cost me more than 150 quid, I'd be surprised. But the this shape and the structure of the seat is fine. It's just the surface of the leather. So I could probably put something over that just to stop it sort of deteriorating any further. So maybe some kind of surface, like maybe a little light film of sort of glue or something, just glue down those little bits. Anyway, I'm going to call into, there's a couple of trimmers in Milton Keynes, I'll call into them. But the, you know, the trim otherwise everywhere else is pretty good. I mean, this steering wheel has had a year of hand sanitizer, a year or more hand sanitizer, pretty much every time I get back into the car, apart from when I start in the morning. And it's not falling to bits, is it? You know, it's showing some wear, but it's in good order, really. Everything else is fine. Yeah, so it's just this tire pressure thing, which I'll reset in 2 seconds. I mean, this month it's May at the minute here, and it's been the bloody coldest May ever. So the heated seats have been on every morning. So that's the thing. If you're ending up in this is an SR, so if you're ending up in a lesser spec that doesn't have the seats, then yeah, lesser spec doesn't have the seats, then you're missing out. The leather is excellent. These seats are super sportive. Also I fitted these little Hiko kind of wind guards. They are not expensive. I think they're about 50 quid, and it means that you can have the windows open and crack. You can have the windows, sometimes the dog is left in the car, so you can have the windows open and crack, so there's a bit of air getting in there. But if it rains, it's not going to drown the bloody inside. Yeah, this car has never been painted, and I've never polished it. But it had one of these SuperGuard finishes from new. That has clearly made a difference, because the paint is in excellent condition. Honda paint is notoriously scratchy. I don't know if you'd call it thin per se, but it definitely does pick up marks. This car hasn't really got any marks. Just bits of crap. There's one chip in the door, which definitely wasn't there last time I washed it. Yeah, that's it. And the chip is obviously self-inflicted because it's in that kind of a place. Anyway, so that's it. Honda Civic Tourer at 90,000 miles, nothing to report, as you would expect. World's most boring video is a diary of Honda Civic ownership. Stone chips. What else happened? Oh, I did fucking gouge the sill in a car park in Brighton, one of the council car parks. I scratched that last year, but so yeah, so I'm gonna have to do that. So I guess probably if I was gonna paint anything, I would paint that sill along there and probably have the bonnet painted. And also I've got some damage on this bumper. This is from the previous owner, so this and this. So yeah, so I guess if I'm collecting paint to be done, then I've got to seal that bumper corner. You would only really need to paint that corner. You wouldn't need to paint any of this. That bumper corner and the bonnet for chips, but you know, who cares really? I'm going to be driving it at 150, 160,000 miles, so don't really care. That's it. Nothing to tell you. Life is good. I see a lot of comments from people who are just about to buy Civic Tourers, or they're liking this, so thanks for all those comments, that's cool. And yeah, hope everyone is doing all right. I'll reset this tire pressure warning thing before we bugger off and do this job. So right, so you've got two sets of controls on the steering wheel. You've got this side, which is just for cruise control. You've got this side, which is basically for hi-fi and for that vehicle information menu. So press menu. Okay, then you're into the vehicle menu. So when you're not driving, you can't do this when you're driving. The car has to be stopped. So down to customize settings, deflation warning system, initialize, yes, and that's it. And that's it. So yeah, you do get some of these things. There are other things you can do with the vehicle information menu. So you can yeah, you can do things like that, speedometer unit. So when you get to France or whatever, you can convert it into kms, stuff like that. I mean, there isn't a huge amount, and there's additional stuff that you can control with this, but there isn't a huge amount. One thing I've done recently is I've been using more dynamic, so just swapping the damper settings to dynamic. So again, you just press the damper button, it scrolls through the options. Only because I've been on my own in the car, and mostly B roads, and yeah, it does feel a little bit tighter, but I don't suppose there's a huge amount in it. But yeah, other than that, everything is good. No problems with the aircon, no gas leaking, no problems with the economy. 60.9. I admire those people who can get 70, 80. They must be driving like the car is asleep. I cannot stand it. So, you know, six gear, 1400 revs. You just feel like you're dragging the engine. And yeah, it's fine if you're traveling along on the flat, but as soon as you get any kind of an incline, really, you want to get the revs up a bit. And otherwise, nothing. Not a thing. Find myself turning off the alarm ultrasonic detectors when the dog is in the car, but genuinely there's nothing to report. So I've done 21,000 miles since I bought this, and I have nothing to say other than I changed the oil a couple of times, did the rear brakes. I'm probably going to do the front brakes at some stage, I guess. I haven't looked at them. Let's have a look at them. Oh. Yeah, there's a bit of a lip on the edge of that, so so it's coming up for brakes. So I'll probably do those at the next service. It's 10,000 miles away, because a lot of my mileage is just not braking. I'm not a huge heavy braker, so that'll mean that they will have had at least 40,000 miles. I think I think they definitely weren't done in the sort of 6,000 or 7,000 miles before I bought this. So I guess they'll have at least 30,000, because I bought it at 70 and I'll change them at 100, so they'll have at least 30,000. That flat tire was annoying, because if you're trying to sort of stick to a matched set of tires, obviously now one is out of sequence. So again, this is only for the 1% of people who give a toss about this. And I feel your pain if you're one of those people, because I am definitely one of those people. So so now, of course, if you want to change to something like a set of Michelin's or something, you got a brand new tire on the car somewhere, so you got to wait until all that wears down. But there are worse problems for sure. Anyway, okay, that's it. The tire pressure management system is now reset, so we'll see how long that lasts. Typically these things take like 1 or 2, maybe even 3 resets before it settles down, and then it doesn't create any problems. Yeah, that's it. Adios.